in her own little world. Yeah. And I just fell in love. Oh no. She's a little emo girl, lost in her own little world. Yeah. And I can't let her go. Oh no. Oh, what the fuck? I fell in love with her bad luck. There's something in my lunch, cause now I just can't get enough. Irregular heartbeats every time I hear her speak. I wish I could get near her every week, but
Hi, so I am more than 1 year post-op from my 6th nose surgery. This is the second nose surgery I've had with Dr. Tashtan. And as you can see, it's a big improvement from before. And so I'm going to talk about everything that's happened since then. So it's been 1.5 years since my last nose surgery. That was my 6th overall nose surgery and the second one with Dr. Tashtan. And you can see how my nose looks now. If you're wondering why I had 6 nose surgeries, go back and watch my previous videos. I explain everything there, but to kind of summarize, my first surgery was mainly for breathing issues and a minor cosmetic adjustment to the tip. I was really happy with my bridge. I had a great bridge. So in that surgery, PDS plate was used in my septum without my consent. And I think I had a reaction to that, and my nose became really swollen and deformed. And the same doctor did a revision surgery, which was a reconstruction using my rib cartilage diced with part of my fascia from my scalp. And that all dissolved. And during that surgery, I also had necrosis of my columella. And so I had a hole in my columella for a while. And then the same doctor, he was gonna do the 3rd surgery to repair the hole, but he was gonna be out of town, so he wasn't able to, and my only options were either wait and let it get worse or let his fellow do it. So I had the fellow do the 3rd surgery, and that one, left it closed the hole, but it left my nose really deformed. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't leave my house for, 1.5 years until I had my 4th surgery with a different doctor. But that one also, that doctor used a cadaver rib cartilage in my bridge, which warped, and used some of my ear cartilage for the tip. And after that surgery, it was the same thing. I couldn't leave my house. I just was, like my life was stalled. I couldn't do anything because my whole focus was just on my nose and how am I going to get this fixed. And so I was part of a lot of rhinoplasty support groups online. And some people there told me about Dr. Tashtan, because there were some people doing surgery in Turkey. They told me about some other doctors there, like Dr. Baliksi, Dr. Salabi, Umit Taskin, Serkan Gode, some other ones. And so, yeah, I consulted some of those doctors, and some of them rejected me because my case was too difficult. And I consulted Dr. Tashtan, and he was hesitant because I have a heart condition. He said, he needs to check with his cardiologist. Is it okay? Because I have an internal defibrillator, so it's kind of complicated during the surgery. We have to turn it off. And so he was checking on that, and I had to get clearance from my cardiologist. And so I was really scared that he was going to reject me as well. And I said, like, please, like, you're the only one who can help me. And he wanted to understand my expectations too, because he said after so much damage, I can't expect like a good result. He can make it straight, he can fix some things, but like for the fifth surgery, the first surgery that I had with him, he said that he wouldn't be able to improve my breathing because it was just too risky to remove that scar tissue inside. We had to do a closed approach because it was too risky to open the columella. He took out the old cadaver rib cartilage and the ear cartilage and all that, and he used my rib to reconstruct my whole nose using his oblique split method. And I was really happy after like the first month or two. It was just such a huge change from before that I could finally leave my house. I finally, before I was just working from home, but this time I got a new job and I was able to go into the office and, show my face and stuff. And so that was a big change. And then after a few months, I started noticing some things that like it was still an improvement from before, but I would think back to like my original nose, how symmetrical it was, how, I still wish that I had never done any of this. And I talked to Dr. Tashtan. I said, is it possible, in time, like if my blood circulation in my nose improves, can we improve it more? And he said, yeah, we'll see after 1.5 years. So after 1.5 years, I talked to him again. And he said, okay, I think, and then I talked to him about that. He had a patient who also had columellar necrosis before, had a hole in his nose. And he did a modified lip lift where he used some of the Filtrum to reconstruct the columella. And so I asked if he could do that for me. And, and after discussing it, he decided we could try to do that. But he said he'd have to see me in person first. And touch my nose and examine it, and then he would know, for sure if it's safe or not. And then once he opens in the surgery, then he'd be able to see how much he can actually stretch it. And so I was originally scheduled to have surgery with him in like a year and a half or so later, but then had to be rescheduled a couple times because there were just other things that I wasn't able to travel those times. So got rescheduled, and when we finally had the surgery, I was 2 years post-op, which was really good because it gave time for my nose to heal enough. And so when he did the surgery, my tissues were much healthier. And so he removed that old scar that I had here, and he lifted up my Filtrum. He made 2 like little slits right here and lifted the skin up and used it to create a new columella and put, of course, new rib cartilage there. Reconstructed my whole tip with my rib cartilage, my bridge. He kept the bridge grafts from before, but he added some more to it because the crushed cartilage that he put on top as a camouflage, that dissolved. So he put more solid grafts this time, so those won't dissolve. Those are all there. And he added length like I wanted. What I wasn't expecting was like the radix right here. It's kind of higher, and the reason for that is because my nasal bone was so shortened that he had to attach it pretty high up, attach the cartilage pretty high up. Because there's just no bone down here to attach it. So, but he also explained, like, because there's so much scar tissue here that he couldn't lengthen it this way. By making it longer up here, making it start higher, it gives the illusion that the nose is longer. I mean, I miss like my original nose. I had a low radix and I had a long projected nose, and I miss that. But of course, I can't expect to have that back after so much damage to my nose. I mean, I know if I went to Dr. Touchdown for my primary, like my nose would be perfect. It would be super symmetrical. Everything would be great. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. I didn't come to him until after 4 surgeries when my nose was extremely damaged, and no one else could fix it. Like other doctors were telling me I would need a forehead flap or a cheek flap, and that it was a really risky surgery. And luckily we didn't have to resort to that. As you can see, I don't have any scar on my forehead or cheeks. So luckily, this technique worked. Of course, my columelid's not as long as I would like. Like my lip isn't as lifted as I would like, but there are limitations. We have to be realistic. And so for now, I'm happy with it. Like, it's better than I could have expected after being botched. Of course, if I could go back in time and, not do any surgery or do my first surgery with Dr. Touchdown from the start, then I know I'd be a lot happier. But, what he did is a miracle, because a lot of people just didn't think, and I didn't think that I would even get my nose to the state it's at now. And this is 14 months post-op, so it's not like an early result. I still have to wait another year maybe and see how it looks then. And then if I need another touch-up with Dr. Touchdown, I'll definitely trust him with that. But I guess the good news is that like I've been able to do some modeling. Like some of it's been paid, but a lot of it's just like with old photographer friends that I have just for fun. And I've been able to go like on dates. In some ways, it was kind of better when I couldn't go on dates, because now it's just like that whole dating world is kind of depressing, especially with the dating apps. But I've been able to go back to school. I'm in school now, so I can find a better career after. So it feels like my life is getting back on track. But I guess something that something a lot of people ask me is like, how did you survive all those years? Like, I'm so depressed. And for me, I have to say that like it's not like my life, like I was super happy and excited about life before that. So I mean, I definitely became more depressed after I got botched, but now that my nose is normal, it's not like the depression magically goes away. Even though like someone else might look at my life and be like, oh, what does she have to be depressed about? Everything's great for her. But it's really just a mind state that we get stuck in. And like I know the first 6 months of the recovery from the last surgery, like it was really hard. My nose was really swollen and irregular, and I thought like I was just gonna be botched again. I thought like the swelling would never go down. And it wasn't really until like 6 months that it started to go down, and then 9 months when I really started noticing the difference, and I was able to do photo shoots and stuff like that. And then, and then like after a year, it's definitely gotten even, like the swelling's gone down even more, and I'm sure in another year it's going to continue to go down. But, besides just like my thoughts about my nose and my obsession with that, I've started just kind of obsessing too much about like everything about how I look, like my hair, that it's too thin, like my skin, that I'm getting older, and I'm 36 now, and with all these surgeries, like I've lost 6 years of my life, and that's the hard thing now. It's like with my career, I feel like it's stalled. With dating, of course, it's much harder at my age. And so like I can't get that lost time back. I just have to focus on like doing what I can now, and trying not to like think about my nose or how I look, but it's kind of hard because in society, you know, like we do have to think about how we look and how other people see us, whether it's for getting a job or going on a date, you know, or even hanging out with friends. Like you know, it's normal for people to want to look their best. I feel like everything else about me has kind of suffered because I've been so focused on my nose all those years and my appearance. And even though I was like doing new things like volunteering, gardening, I don't know, I had a company that I was working on at that time. And yeah, I don't know, I just wish I could have done more of those years. Like I could have been studying more or something. I don't know, because I just feel like those 6 years were kind of a blur, and now it's kind of hard for, like I was in jail, and now I'm out of jail, and I don't know how to like reintegrate into society. Like I go on dates, I kind of don't know what to talk about, you know, like I don't know how to socialize. So yeah, so that's where my life is now. So I don't really have much else to say. If you have any questions, you know, let me know in the comments. I'm definitely super thankful for Dr. Touchdown and what he was able to do, and I'm also, you know, thankful that other people, that my story was able to give them hope and continues to give people hope, and that, you know, people have reached out to me and said, you know, it's thanks to you that I went with Dr. Touchdown, or that, you know, that I didn't give up hope. With every surgery, I'm hoping it can be my last, and I see even after this one, there's still some things that I'm not happy with, and I don't know if they'll get better with time or if I'll still need another touch-up. And I just wonder sometimes, you know, when are these surgeries going to end? When am I going to be okay with my nose? And for anyone still considering nose surgery, you know, who hasn't done it, these are things to think about. You might never be happy. You might want to just go back to the original nose you had. I definitely miss the symmetry I had. So it's something to think about. And a lot of people now, they ask me, am I finally happy? You know, have I moved on? And I don't know if I can say yes to that.